In the northern part of our great country is a beautiful forest. In the forest is a city. You may have been there yourself. You turn right past the 22nd oak tree, then left at the clump of wild rose bushes, then walk ahead about 88 yards. There you come upon a great sunlit clearing. That's the city. This is a city of rabbits called Rabbit Town. There's Richard Rabbit, Robert Rabbit, Ronald Rabbit, Ruth Rabbit, Raymond Rabbit, Rosie Rabbit. Oh, hundreds and hundreds of rabbits. Some are short, some are tall. Some are thin, some are fat. Some are black and some are white. Some are mommies and daddies, and some are just young folks. There were two young folks who were great pals. A little white rabbit named Raymond Rabbit, and a little black rabbit named Robert Rabbit. Robert and Raymond were just about the same age, just about as old as you are. Wherever Robert went, Raymond went. And whatever Raymond did, Robert did. They even sat next to each other in school. Raymond sat in the first row, first seat, and Robert in the second row, first seat. They were always together.
First row, first seat, second row, first seat, always together. Skip, rope, play, ball, do nothing at all, always together. Running, swimming, losing, winning, always together. Everything is so much fun when you know there is someone who likes things you do, knows it's best when there are two, always together.
One day, a certain red fox was passing through the forest and happened to turn right past the 22nd oak tree, then happened to turn left at the clump of wild rose bushes, and then happened to walk ahead about 88 yards. Then he came upon a great sunlit clearing. There he was, at the city. He stood outside the city for a while, hiding himself behind a small mulberry bush. He watched all the rabbits going to and fro about their business, or playing together, or preparing dinner. The fox said to himself, "Well, isn't this a sight? Here's a big city of black and white rabbits, and they all seem so happy and peaceful and contented. I couldn't get enough of them alone to eat if they all stick so close together. I must find a way of making them fight each other." Just then, who should hop past the mulberry bush but Raymond Rabbit and his father. Usually they hopped like this. But now they were hopping along like this. They were going home for dinner. After having played all day with his pal Robert, Raymond was particularly hungry. "Now's my chance," thought the red fox as he jumped from behind the bush right in front of the two rabbits. Handing the little white rabbit a beautiful fresh carrot and his father a delicious-looking cabbage leaf, he said, "How do you do, gentlemen? My name is Fenimore Fox." Raymond, who was a very friendly young man and whose mouth watered when he saw the carrot, answered, "How do you do, sir? My name is Raymond Rabbit, and this is my father." And just like that, they became acquainted. Suddenly, Fenimore Fox said, "You know, my friends, it's a great surprise to a much-traveled man like me to see you handsome white rabbits getting along so well with these black rabbits. Now, mind you, I personally have nothing against black rabbits. Why, some of my best friends have been black rabbits. But after all, Mr. Rabbit, they're very dangerous." "Yes, the black rabbits are very, very dangerous. Do you realize what happens in the wintertime when your beautiful fur blends with the snow? Their black fur doesn't. They can be seen very easily. And so when the hunter comes with their guns, looking for rabbits to shoot, they see the black rabbits. And who are always with the black rabbits? The white rabbits. Yes, they're very, very dangerous." Raymond looked surprised. "Gosh, Mr. Fox, Robert Rabbit is my best friend, and he's a black rabbit, and I don't think he's a bit dangerous." Fenimore Fox didn't like that, so he just ignored Raymond and went right on speaking to his father. Besides, Mr. Rabbit, there's a great difference. Are they half as beautiful as you? Are they? Are they? No. And in wintertime, just look how your beautiful fur blends with the snow. Does theirs? I ask you, does theirs? Mr. Rabbit answered meekly, no. What you say may be true, Mr. Fox, but you see, Richard Rabbit is our mayor, and he's a black rabbit, and he's one of the best mayors we've ever had. Well, you could just imagine what the fox did when he heard that. First, he groaned loudly. Then he swished his tail in the air several times. Then he jumped into a bush. And out. And in again. And out. And in once again. And out. Then he groaned again. Oh, my dear good friend Rabbit, just imagine how much better mayor you could have if he had white fur. You'd better tell all your friends what I've said. I mean your white rabbit friends. And then I'll meet you here in 2 days' time, and you'll give me their answer. And so Raymond and his father went home. Naturally, his father had never heard such talk before, especially coming from a fox, since most foxes didn't bother speaking to rabbits, but just gobbled them up at sight. He had never thought about such things. So he talked it over with his white rabbit friends, and although nobody was sure, they all began to believe it. And worst of all, Raymond was no longer allowed to play with Robert, and they were both very sad.
2 little rabbits once were pals, played and sang together. 2 little rabbits once were pals, hoped and hopped together. One day the fox told a lie, made people think it was true. He was so evil and sly, and now the boys are far apart. Poor Raymond, poor Robert, tells no more.
2 days later, Raymond's father kept his appointment with Fenimore Fox. Well, said the fox, well, and what did your friends say? We all agree that you may be right, Mr. Fox, but what can we do? Well, if you will listen to a much-traveled man like myself, you will bring in an outsider, one who has beautiful white fur, but with a touch of black at the tail. Now I know just the man for you. He has a beautiful white coat, the most beautiful in the forest, and the tip of his tail is black. That sounds very good, said the rabbit. What's his name? His name, my dear friend Rabbit, his name is Herman Ermine. I shall persuade Herman Ermine that it is his duty to become mayor of your fair city. Meet me here in 2 days' time, and I will give you his answer. And so they parted, and Raymond's father hopped back to the city to tell the others the news. As for the fox, he went looking for Herman Ermine. Although he didn't know Mr. Ermine, he figured his plans would work better if an outsider were mayor. Time passed, and the winter was almost over. Finally, February came, and Fenimore Fox brought Herman Ermine to the city. The rabbits immediately liked him, even the black rabbits, who didn't know what was going on. And so they made him mayor. Mayor Herman Ermine. Mr. Ermine made a very nice speech, thanking all the rabbits, and then said, I shall return on the first day of spring to be your mayor. Life in the city went on, but not in its usual way. Things were not so peaceful now. People were not so happy. White rabbits would start fights with black rabbits. Nobody felt very good, and the unhappiest of all were Robert and Raymond. Robert and Raymond had made up their minds to one thing. Nothing was going to keep them from being pals. And although they weren't allowed to play together, they did meet behind the schoolhouse one day and decided what they were going to do. They were going to find Herman Ermine and ask him to help them. And so very late one night, so late that everybody was asleep, Robert and Raymond met at the edge of the city and went out into the forest. It was very dark and very cold, and the two rabbits walked as close together as possible. The wind made strange howling noises as it blew through the trees, and sometimes an owl way up in the branch of a tree would give a long, low hoot. And the rabbits would run until they couldn't hear him, but mostly they walked very slowly because they couldn't see very far ahead. The deeper they went into the forest, the darker it got. They fell into holes in the ground and bumped into trees. And finally Raymond said, Robert, maybe we better go back home. It's so dark here, and the trees look so scary. But Raymond, we've got to find Herman Ermine. We don't even know where to look, and besides, I'm frightened. Well, so am I, said Robert. But I have an idea. Let's whistle. Well, what good does whistling do? I don't know, Raymond, but they say people always whistle when they're frightened. Well, all right, let's try it. So they walked ahead and they whistled. And the more and louder they whistled, the braver they became. Suddenly they came to a small clearing, just big enough for the moon to shine through. There in the middle, sitting with his back against the tree and reading a book, was Herman Ermine. Mr. Ermine, we've come to you for your help. This is my friend and pal, Robert, and my name is Raymond. Ever since Fenimore Fox came to our city, we've been very unhappy. Mr. Fox says that the white rabbits are better than the black rabbits, and so my father won't let me play with Robert anymore. He even brought you to the city so that you'd be our mayor with white fur. We don't mind you being mayor, Mr. Ermine, but please, can't you fix it so that Robert and I will be allowed to play together and we can be happy once again? Herman Ermine couldn't believe what he had heard. Oh, so that is why Fenimore Fox asked me to be your mayor. That is too bad, too bad. But don't worry, Robert and Raymond. Everything is going to be all right. I'll fix Fenimore Fox. And your father will let you play together again. Wait for me to come to your city on the first day of spring. And so Robert and Raymond thanked Herman Ermine and went back to the city, feeling much happier than they had in a long time and anxious to find out what would happen on the first day of spring. Then the snow melted and the rivers rose high. The grass began to come back, and the trees and the bushes began to bud. It was spring. This very first day of spring, all the rabbits gathered in the center of the city to await the arrival of their new mayor. Even Fenimore Fox was there, gleefully thinking of what he had in store for these people. And Robert and Raymond kept their eyes on the fox, waiting to see what would happen. Then from some distance away, somebody with dark brown, shaggy fur, so dark that it was almost black, turned right past the 22nd oak tree, then turned left at the clump of wild rose bushes, then walked ahead about 88 yards. There he was, at the city. Without a moment's hesitation, he walked through the crowd, up onto the platform, and sat down. Everybody wondered who this was. Fenimore Fox rushed to the platform and said, My good man, we are patiently waiting here for the new mayor of this fair city. He with the most beautiful white fur in the whole forest, Herman Ermine. Who are you? I am William Weasel. Oh, yes, I should have known. And what are you doing here? I am here to become mayor, said Mr. Weasel. But I just told you that Herman Ermine is our new mayor. Well, I am Herman Ermine. How can you be Herman Ermine when you're William Weasel? And besides, you have dark brown, almost black fur. And Herman Ermine has white fur. Everybody was so excited they hopped all around. How could William Weasel be Herman Ermine? Or how could Herman Ermine be William Weasel? It was just too much for anybody to understand. Suddenly, Mr. Weasel stood up and said, My dear rabbits, I know what's going on here. Fenimore Fox tried to make you hate each other because of your color. He said that the black rabbits are dangerous. But did he tell you that in the summertime, the white rabbits can be dangerous? Because then they can be seen by the hunters. Then the black rabbits blend with the earth and the bark of the trees, but the white rabbits do not. Mr. Fox lied to you. By this time, Fenimore Fox had heard enough, and he started to sneak away. But Robert and Raymond, who were watching him all this time, cried, "Don't let him get away! Grab the fox!" And Robert grabbed him by one ear, and Raymond grabbed him by the tail, and about 3,691 other rabbits jumped on Fenimore Fox and grabbed his other ear, his arms, his legs, even his whiskers, and they pulled him to the ground. And they all sat on him. Everybody was all excited, and Raymond's father shouted to William Weasel, "Tell us more." "Well," continued Mr. Weasel, "thanks to two very brave boys, Raymond and Robert, I found out what Fenimore Fox was up to. He tried to make you think that white rabbits were better and prettier than black rabbits. But he didn't know what a strange fellow I am. When winter comes, Mother Nature gives me a beautiful white coat, and I'm called Herman Ermine. But when spring comes, Mother Nature gives me this beautiful dark coat you see now, and I am called William Weasel. So you see, I'm really the same person, even though the color of my fur changes at different times of the year." And so, my friends, the rabbits not only found out that William Weasel was Herman Ermine, but they also found out that although he had dark fur, almost black, he was still the same honest, good, kind man as when he had white fur. And naturally, that made the white rabbits realize they were no better or worse than the black rabbits. So they made William Weasel, who was also Herman Ermine, mayor with Richard Rabbit. And do you know what else they did? They decided that since Raymond and Robert were so brave and so smart, the two pals would be mayors of Rabbit Town together when they grew up. And what about Fenimore Fox? Why, the black rabbits and the white rabbits got together and gave him a beating, and then chased him out of the city 88 miles. They chased him right at the clump of wild rose bushes, and they chased him left past the 22nd oak tree. Fenimore Fox never returned. Robert and Raymond played together again. And Richard Rabbit, Rachel Rabbit, Ronald Rabbit, tall ones, short ones, black ones, white ones, and oh, everybody sang this song.
Everybody wants to play, laughing, singing, always gay. Hoppity-dop, blip, hoppity-dip-lop. Everything is so much fun when you treat all folks as one. Hoppity-dop, blip, hoppity-dip-lop.